Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1 o'clock, so welcome to the Board of Governors March meeting. Just a couple reminders, everyone, the microphones are off, so when it's your turn to speak, if you'll press your button so the little green light will turn on, it'd be much appreciated. We'll go ahead and get started. I do have one announcement first. Most of you were there, but we want to recognize Dr. Bob and Dot Wilcoxon on their gift that we just celebrated and thank them for their generosity and support of Missouri Southern. What a wonderful gift for the Lions Forward campaign. So we're very excited about that. The other announcement I might make, if we see every once in a while we might get a score update. As you all know, the Lady Lions are playing in the championship game, and so I think Mr. Mallory may be sending us some score updates. As it is right now, it's 47-41. We are behind, but a lot of time left in the third quarter, so we'll keep the updates. Okay, first on the agenda is minutes from the January 13th board meeting. You have those in your packet and they were sent out. At this point, I'll take a motion for approval of the January 13 board minutes.
So moved.
We'll do Governor Haley as the motion, and the second was Governor Richard. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, for our board reports, first on the agenda, the President's report, Dr. Van Galen.
Thank you, Governor Plotnick, and I would certainly echo your thoughts on our gratitude for Dr. Bob and Dot Wilcoxon and their wonderful gift to the Lions Forward campaign. The Lions Forward campaign is really off to a great start, and I very much appreciate the board's endorsement of the campaign last September and for your personal participation in the campaign in so many different ways. We are finding that by personally presenting potential donors with a set of priorities, they're responding in very generous ways. So it's a team effort, and I want to thank everyone involved in our early success in the campaign. A bit of an update on Missouri higher education. We continue to engage our state legislators through meetings in Jefferson City and when they're back in the district. The governor's fiscal year 2024 higher education budget recommendations are being very well received in the legislature. And as a reminder, if approved by the House and Senate and signed by the governor, that would include a core increase in our budget of $2 million. That is what's being proposed for Missouri Southern for next fiscal year. Funding for our MOExcels projects, which is a Center for Applied Data Analytics, in the amount of $474,000. And then also the governor has proposed additional capital funding, primarily for projects that were approved in last year's state budget, and for us, that would be an additional $7.5 million for our Health Science Innovation Center. More to follow, but I wanted to give the board an update on that. Next, as described in my written report to the board, at the February 21st meeting of the Joplin City Council, the council approved unanimously providing $80,000 to assist with a project that is being led by the Joplin Regional Alliance for Healthcare and Health Science. As a reminder, this alliance is a group of CEOs of major healthcare and educational institutions, including KCU, Missouri Southern, and Crowder, as well as other community leaders. One of the key goals of this group is to capitalize on our region's unique strengths in healthcare and health science and advance Joplin and the region. With the financial support of the City of Joplin and Alliance Partners, a highly respected consulting firm, Techonomy Partners, will help us develop a strategic roadmap for Joplin and the region focused on the health sector. This project exemplifies two important, perhaps larger points. Number one, that the City of Joplin is demonstrating that it is a very supportive partner in forward-thinking initiatives that will advance our city and the region. Certainly the city's $1.5 million investment in our Health Science Innovation Center is a great example of that. And also that leaders in business, education, government, and the community are working together, striving to build a better future for all of us. As always, great things are possible when people work together. In my written report to the board, you can also read about some exciting events coming to our campus, including TEDx MSSU and a major concert to be held in Fred G. Hughes Stadium featuring Jesse McCartney. These events are sponsored by the Student Campus Activities Board, but the entire community is encouraged to attend. I'll conclude my report by expressing gratitude to our faculty and to our staff for their commitment to providing a high-quality, engaging educational experience for our students. Student learning and development are at the core of our mission, and it is our people, in concert with the efforts of our students, that enable Missouri Southern to be a place that continues to change lives. Thank you all. That concludes my report, Governor Plotnick.
Thank you, Dr. Van Galen. Questions for Dr. Van Galen? Hearing none, thank you for your report. Next, Executive Vice President, Dr. Brad HODSON.
Thank you. I'll highlight a couple of items from my written report. One is you have at your place setting a copy of our Leave Behind brochure, which we use when engaging prospective donors for the first time in the 7 campaign priorities. It's a really nice printed piece. I want to acknowledge the work of University Relations and Marketing and Kara Dixon in the development office in developing this piece. It's very useful when sitting down with prospective donors and walking through the 7 priorities. So you're welcome to take this copy, and if you need additional copies for your friends or family or office, we'd be happy to oblige you. And then on the back of the second page of my report is information on Lions on Site, which is a new initiative in the Office of Alumni Relations. We are taking our alumni roadshow to employers that have a high concentration of Missouri Southern graduates on site. And so we've done CFI, and we did DuCommon here in Joplin, and we're getting ready to do Liberty Utilities very soon. So that's an exciting new initiative. We've had great participation amongst alumni at those employers, and it is a nice way to reach out to both alumni and folks that employ our alumni. So we're very excited about that.
Great. Questions for Dr. HODSON? I want to thank you for your leadership with the Lions Forward campaign. I was on the foundation meeting yesterday, and there's some exciting things going on, and we appreciate everything that you're doing and your team is doing to continue to hit the goals that we have to move Missouri Southern forward. So thank you.
Thank you, and I'll pass along your good wishes.
Great. Next, Provost and VP for Academic Affairs, Dr. Toms.
Well, good afternoon. I'm pleased to announce that the Chemical and Physical Sciences Department has been accredited by the American Chemical Society. ACS approval program promotes excellence in chemistry education for undergraduate students through approval of baccalaureate chemistry programs. ACS-approved programs offer a broad-based and rigorous chemistry education that gives students intellectual, experimental, and communication skills to become effective scientific professionals. I wish to express my appreciation to Dean Marcy Archer, to Dr. James Donaldson, the chair of the department, and his faculty for all of their hard work on this impressive designation. On February 20th, the Black Student Alliance participated in a Black History Month luncheon and panel at the Cornell Complex. Several MSSU Black student leaders were a part of a panel discussion, including Nikala Bailey, social work student and president of the Black Student Alliance, and our own Student Senate President Marcel John. Earlier this week, the Missouri Center for Advanced Power, MOCAP, a consortium of MSSU, Missouri State, Missouri S&T, and University of Missouri-Columbia, along with industry partners of Acer Technologies, Eagle Pitcher Technologies, and North Star Battery. That consortium is devoted to research and development of new battery and advanced power technologies and educating a new high-tech workforce for the future. They held their annual summit on our campus on March 7th at the North End Zone facility. Faculty, students, and industry partners from each entity were present. Poster conference was held for the student research papers related to battery and advanced power technology. So some of the school children that have been on our campus in the last few months, 60 students were invited to interview to be a part of the fall 2023 MKEEP cohort. That's the largest group that we've invited. 58 of those attended. Late last week, 25 students received notification letters that they had been accepted, and 13 students received letters that they were alternates. This was the largest class of applicants. Over 100 actually applied. the largest number to interview, and the largest number of invitations issued in the history of the program. This program is gaining a nationwide reputation with applicants coming from all over the country. The day that I spoke to, so we had 3 days of interviews, and the day that I spoke, there were 2 students from San Diego, California. They didn't know each other. I can't imagine that. Two from Fort Worth, Indiana, to our east, and honestly I can't remember what states were present, but there were a couple from Missouri, but we are getting more and more national attention for this program. So that's really exciting. The nursing department recently received the annual NCLEX RN first-time pass rates, a primary outcome for the Missouri State Board of Nursing. The pass rate is 87.8%, with a national rate for BSN programs at 82%. So we once again surpassed the national average. Additionally, the BSN program opened the fall 23 application cycle on January 1st, and at present there are 36 qualified applicants for the 30 seats available. The selection of the candidates by faculty will occur in March. Second-year dental hygiene students have been busy in the community and working in elementary schools providing screenings and seal-it application. They have been at Jasper Elementary, Stapleton Elementary, and some of our students have also worked in Wildwood Nursing Home. That funding is provided by grants from the state. A new student lounge opened in Plaster Hall on March 8th. Much of the funding was provided by former she's not in here, is she? Former faculty, Dr. Beverly Block. Okay. She's still at adjuncts for us, so she provided a large amount of the funding. That's lovely. It's a lovely facility. The furnishings, the kids just already love them. You guys need to go over there and see that when you get a chance. And the last thing I'll update you on very briefly is the strategic planning task force continues to meet, and we are this close to having goals and objectives to put out to the campus community for comment. And I thank you. There are several around this table who are on that task force, and a couple sitting back here as well. So great leadership in that group, and we look forward to bringing you a new strategic plan to approve in June.
I did have one question on the Master of Healthcare Administration.
Yes.
That starts in the fall, is that
It does.
correct?
Yes.
And are those applicants coming from traditional students or non-traditional?
Well, there was a little bit of a misunderstanding. Those are people who have begun applications, but they have not completed the application.
Okay.
But yeah, they're coming from all over. Melinda Brown's doing a great job of recruiting those students. So there are some coming out of our local area healthcare industry, but also some of our own students that are getting ready to graduate and just go straight into the master's program. So it's various ways to get those applicants. And Melinda's working really well. The number she has of potential admits is actually larger that's in there, but none of them, I think two have actually completed their application. So, you know, we're not experts in graduate education, but we're going to get there.
Great. Thank you for your report. Questions for Dr. Toms? Yes, Governor Gibson.
Not really a question. Clearly, there's a lot of good work going on all over campus, but I think I'd just like to applaud those that were involved in restoring our nursing program.
And Dr. Bills isn't here, but she certainly was very instrumental
There it
and
is.
continues to be instrumental. Yeah, she is the State Board of Nursing actually will be on campus for their visit in April. So in June, we'll bring you back a report of that.
I think the board all agrees with Governor Gibson's comments and hard work and dedication in the nursing program, so congratulations. Other questions?
From what I hear, it's better than ever.
Yes. And with the new Health Innovation Center, we'll be able to put more people in through the nursing program. Our hope is, right?
Once we are in good standing with the State Board of Nursing, our accreditation went very well last fall, and we will have to make application to the State Board for the second cohort. But we did approve on campus, our on-campus governance approved an RN to BSN program, you guys remember at our last board meeting. So that opens up more opportunities locally as well. It's online, so nationally for nurses to advance their education.
Great. Other questions or comments for Dr. Toms? Thank you for your report. Next, Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, Ms. Linda Ice.
Good afternoon. The first thing that I'll discuss is the strategic employee recruitment and retention analysis, and we call that SARA, and it continues to move along at the timeline that we have set out. We are in contact with the consultant. In fact, we had a phone call with them this week to talk about the work that they're doing. They continue doing the market analysis, and we still anticipate a final report in April that will inform some of our decisions for our FY24 budget and additional years to come. So that will give us a plan to take a look at and consult that report as we move forward. I'm working on the fiscal year 2024 budget, and that is a collaborative effort by many people across campus, a lot of divisions, a lot of conversations about needs, possibility of reduction in cost, additional expenses. Of course, we're always taking a look at different things that we need. Insurance is in there, software increases, Mosers increases. We have facility needs, and then layering in SARA, what that report looks like. And so it's just a really busy time. On the revenue side, as Dr. Van Galen said, always encouraged to hear from the state that they are looking to increase our base appropriations. It's always very good for the university. And then tuition revenue, we always look at the fluctuations between rate, enrollment, the different ways that we deliver our instruction. And so we take all of that into account. So just a lot of information to get ready to prepare that and submit that at the June board meeting. It is annual audit time, and I know I say this every year. I can't believe it's already here. We kick off in March typically with the internal control questionnaires, and so we have started that process. And obviously we move along at a fast pace to get that done and have the auditors come in. This year, I think I've already mentioned this before, we will layer in another GASB. I can't wait for the year that I get to say no GASB this year. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of information. It will mimic what we did with leases last year, but it is new, and that will get layered into our financial statements as well. Moving on over to the financial statements for the period ending February 28th of 2023. If you look at the cash balance, it's at $23 million. And I always mention about this time of year, cash looks really good right now. A lot of that's from the influx of cash from the financial aid disbursement that happens for the spring semester. And if you look at the graph, it will follow the trajectory of it will continue to decline as we move throughout the rest of the fiscal year. Obviously, we have less tuition coming in because all of that is hit in February and March, while we continue to have expenses. I also like to remind that the last couple of years we've had significant HERF funding in those dollars, so when you look at the cash graph, just a reminder that there are dollars in there in the past years, and some of that residual is still in this year. Our assets are at $191 million, and our liabilities are at $132 million, and that gives us net assets of $59 million. Next statement we take a look at is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. We look at the difference column, that is year over year, and you can see that total operating revenue shows a decrease of about $600,000. Total operating expenses show a decrease of $4.6 million. That includes compensation, and a lot of that is from the changes that we made for this budget year. Utilities do show an increase on there, and that is from some rate increases, additional fuel charges, and we have additional residence hall rooms that are back online. So you will see that the utilities increase from that. Scholarships, the decrease is primarily that in this year we didn't have HERF grant scholarships going out to our students. Non-operating, you can see on there the state appropriations for Mosers. That represents 7 months worth of Mosers reimbursement that we received this year from the state. So we're pleased to see that at about $258,000. You can see the HERF there again shows a variance of $7 million. We've also drawn down our final HERF dollars, which was about $985,000, and so those are the final dollars that we will receive from that program. One of the things we are working on, we have another annual report for HERF reporting that will also be due. We work on that. I work with Becca, I work with Alicia, and we provide those numbers. And so, pretty large report. They seem to change it a little bit each year, the format, but we will get that submitted, and that should be the final HERF report that we do. On this statement, the income before other revenues, the current year shows a $5.1 million gain. The prior year had $7 million, and that gives us a decrease between the 2 years of about $1.9 million. Other things that are going on at year end, Human Resources got out W-2s for all our employees for the joy of tax season. 1099s went out from our office. And then we are just working on iPads and HLC reports that are also due. I'll entertain any questions.
Financial report. Hearing none, thank you for your report. We do need a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
Governor Haley and Governor Gibson, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your report. Next, Dean of Admissions, Dr. Shelley HEWITT.
Thank you. So I'd like to start off by highlighting some of our spring recruitment initiatives that have taken place and or will be taking place throughout the rest of the semester. So in February, we visited Neosho High School and McDonald County High School for our Green and Gold tours. And this provided us an opportunity to speak to all high school students, 9th through 12th grade, and to kind of give them information about admissions and our MOSA Merit Scholarship, as well as talking about the current programs that we have and the new exciting programs that will be coming this fall, and also providing them information about the resources and activities that we have on our campus to help them be successful and feel at home when they're here studying. We provided all of our students, staff, and teachers at these schools with popcorn that they loved, and we also had all of the alumni who work in both of these school districts received a little swag from the alumni office, and they absolutely loved it. And this also was an opportunity for us to have the students put their names in for a drawing to receive a couple scholarships from the university. And then during a basketball game that evening, we were able to draw the names and award 2 scholarships to these students. And it was very well received in both schools and really opened up opportunities for us to go into the schools and do many more things with them. So they were really good events. And we are already planning for Green and Gold tours next fall and next spring. Some campus event highlights. So in collaboration with many of the areas across campus, we will host 16 different group visits this spring, including our Lion Pride Visit Days, which are, we have one next week. This includes, we have elementary school students who are coming to campus, high school students, transfer students, and special groups like Talent Search and Upward Bound who will be visiting our campus. There's been tremendous support across our campus for these events, and I know that these future Lions are having memorable experiences, and when I have the opportunities to talk to the counselors that are bringing the students, they're really pleased with the takeaways the students have when they leave our campus. Now I want to share with you a few enrollment highlights for spring. So our graduate student enrollment saw an increase this spring for around 10%. And we're excited that we are going to, in the future, have new graduate programs to recruit for, and we look forward to that enrollment growing. As well as with these students, you saw in my board report that our graduate students are coming from not just Missouri, but from Arkansas, Oklahoma, and surprisingly, you may have noticed, Florida. It's amazing. So anyway, so we are really looking forward to growing our master's programs across the nation and internationally. The other area I want to highlight is our dual credit students. So dual credit enrollment here for Missouri Southern has been on the rise for the past few semesters. This spring we had a 19% increase in dual enrollment for this spring compared to last spring. And you will see in the board report highlights that the top schools that our dual credit students are coming from, and there are many, many, many schools. And we are working on growing the number of schools and partnerships that we have. And there are a few schools that Brett is looking at bringing on board for the fall. So I'm excited to see that number continue to grow. Additionally, these dual credit students, they are included in our recruitment efforts to become first-time freshmen. And according to our data, 10% of our dual credit students apply to Missouri Southern as freshmen. And our goal is to increase that percentage over time. And so we're working really hard to develop a very strategic recruitment plan for these dual credit students. And then I want to just shout out and give kudos to Ms. Brett Meeker and Martha Freeman for all their hard work and dedication with the student population, because they're the ones who truly are making the efforts to get these students enrolled. And so thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hewitt. Questions?
I do.
Yes, Governor Elliott.
I noted on the dual credit, St. Charles West, St. Charles High School, Warrenton is over in that side of the state over there too. Is that intentionally done? Of course, were they recruited to bring students into that dual credit program? How does that
So it's my
happen that far away?
It's my understanding that at a previous high school, we had a partnership with the person moved to St. Charles and had such a great experience with us that they wanted to bring dual credit to the school that they're at, and it's kind of grown from there. I also note with St. Charles, a lot of our St. Charles dual credit students do come here as freshmen as well, so that's pretty exciting.
I did have one question on the graduate programs. You mentioned the students from Florida. Are they undergraduate alum, do you know?
That is a good question. I have not done any further research into that, but it's possible.
Okay, well, maybe they got cousins, we'll take them.
I had a question to follow up on dual enrollment, you said about 10% of those students that take dual enrollment apply as freshmen. How many ultimately enroll of that 10%, do we know?
I don't-
10% apply, how many enroll? Like, what's our,
That's a really good question. I don't have that data, but I can get you that answer.
okay.
Great. Other questions for Dr. Hewitt? Thank you for your report. Okay, Rob, you still with us over there?
I am.
Okay, we are going to do the Director of Athletics report and a score update,
Yeah,
maybe?
no need to bury the lead. Our women currently trail 70 to 68. 2 minutes and 44 seconds to play.
Oh, that's doable.
Coming down to the wire. I'll do my best to get them.
Sorry,
No,
bad
good-
timing, right?
good-
The last
good
2 minutes.
segue. Good segue, though, into my report, which begins on page 15 of the packet. Start by highlighting a really successful winter sports season for Lion Athletics. A women's basketball team, as we all know, won the MIAA tournament championship last weekend in Kansas City as the number 5 seed, and entered the regional today as the number 3 seed in the Central Region at 27-6. So another great season for them. Men's basketball finished 17-13. I might point out that's a 3-win improvement over last season. And both men's and women's track and field, great indoor seasons. The men finished second in the MIAA championship. The women placed third. and we qualified 16 student athletes for the indoor track and field national championship meet, which is currently going on in Virginia Beach. So 16 qualifiers there. So great season for them. Also in my report, a note on a clinical research project that the women's soccer team is participating in related to the impact of clinical yoga on student athlete health, specifically mental health. We have talked throughout this academic year about student athlete advisory committee initiatives, one being community service, and specifically the NCAA Teamworks Challenge. Happy to report that we finished 5th nationally at the Division II level, and that to date we have completed 4,324 hours of community service. Another important initiative for them is raising money for the Make-A-Wish organization. That is the kind of designated charitable organization for Division II. And to date, our student athletes have raised $4,654 for Make-A-Wish towards a goal of $5,000. And lastly, a note on MIAA membership. It was announced in January that Lincoln University will be exiting the MIAA effective the beginning of the 24-25 academic year. And within the report, you can see the potential impact that has as it comes to scheduling, specifically in the sport of football, and just kind of the plan from a membership standpoint that the commissioner has kind of put in place. That concludes my report, and at the moment, let's see. No update. Same score. Timeout.
Down by 3.
Down by 3 minutes, 40 to go.
Thank you for your report. Questions for Mr. Mallory? Governor Elliott.
I have gone clear through your report, Mr. Mallory, and I have not seen one notation about the champion of the diaper dash, annual diaper dash. And
An omission on my part, for sure. I was out of town when that event took place, so I do apologize for that.
I understand the winner's already being recruited by the cross-country coach, not the sprint coach.
She's a winner in many respects.
It was an
Governor.
endurance race. For those of you that don't know, Governor Gibson's granddaughter, Hazel, was the champion of the diaper dash this year.
All right.
She had quite a entourage with her, so on behalf of the board, I'd like to congratulate her.
It's a proud
If I'm
moment.
allowed to do that.
I'll pass that along to young Ms. Wyatt. I do have a question. So that's, my memory is that's a couple of MIAA schools that have dropped the MIAA to go to the GLVC. What first was Southwest Baptist, I think. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Southwest Baptist, Truman State,
Truman, yeah, I forgot about them.
Lindenwood, which has since reclassified to Division I, and now Lincoln, yes.
Yeah, what's their what reasoning are they publicly? Are they?
Well, I think it depends on the institution. Part of it is the geographic shift of the GLVC, which used to expand into eastern and northern Kentucky, has since shifted west. The geographic center of that league is probably now St. Louis. So it might make sense from a geography standpoint for some of those schools. The MIAA it's hard.
It's hard.
And
Yeah.
some schools are looking for maybe greener pastures where they might be able to compete at a little bit higher level.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you for your report, Mr. Mallory. And as the time has ticked on, we're down by 2 with a minute to go. Okay, next on the list, Faculty Senate President, Dr. Jean Colthrop.
Well, I'll try to be quick in case there's an exciting comeback. So my report is pretty quick. We have a new president-elect after looking for a few months. Michael Bialfus from English has moved from our at-large member on executive committee to our president-elect position. He probably won't take over as president until August of 24. To remind you, I will be doing what Dave Walker did of year and a half to get us back on rotation, which meant then we had a vacancy with our at-large member, and Dr. Laura Schisler in teacher education has volunteered to take that place. You might remember from my January report that Faculty Senate Executive Committee has been working with administration on looking at our promotion and tenure standards. We have made good progress with that. We had quite a few people volunteer. We had to actually tell people no, we didn't want the committee to be too big, but we wanted equal representation across the colleges and different ranks of faculty members. Just earlier this week, Dr. Toms, the chair of the committee, and I all met to get on the same page, and I'm really excited about the progress that committee is going to make. Are there any questions you have besides what the score update is?
Okay, Rob, do we have an update?
Lions lead by 1, 73-72, 29 seconds to go.
Okay. Questions for Dr. Coulthrope? Thank you for your report. I see some clapping and some smiling going on here. Okay, next, Staff Senate President, sorry, Miss Alicia Hughes.
Do you want me to just sit in silence?
Timeout's going on, okay.
Extremely fast. Staff Senate's great, thanks. So with Staff Senate, we have had a few goals that I have just kind of, I guess, made in my mind. Staff Senate needed a new mission and vision. We needed to have a better, stronger direction of where we wanted to take Staff Senate and how we want to get there. So in the last couple of meetings, we have worked on a new mission and vision, which has been approved by the Senate and is in my notes for this meeting. I won't read it to you, just to spare you that and the 29 seconds. But that was one of kind of my personal goals for that. I want it to be something that Senates that can be maintained year after year with Senate until they decide that a new mission vision needs to be created. And so that was kind of one of our little aside goals achieved. And then we also changed our monthly meeting structure to eliminate our reporting, and we have sent senators into each building to meet with other staff members on a monthly basis to bring back points of pride. We're calling them pop-ins, points of pride, pop-ins, and bringing back the positives and what other departments are doing and those kinds of things to just start to build more pride and more information, if you will, just where we can talk about things in the community. If we're in the checkout line at Walmart and somebody says, oh, you work at Missouri Southern, and you're like, yeah, guess what we're doing? Just things that we can talk about to help bolster Missouri Southern. Those are going extremely well. Our first one of those was in February, and I think everybody left kind of on a real high note from Senate because of those points of pride and just how amazing our campus truly is. So going forward, we are building new goals and true goals and objectives and wanting to create a more sustainable,
What? Tied, 5 seconds left.
Oh. Who has the ball? Who's possession?
We're shooting free throws.
Rob, are you breathing?
Up 1, 5 seconds.
We have phenomenal free throw stats.
I literally would not care much more about this.
Take a pause for just a second.
Another timeout.
Another timeout.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes, go right ahead.
So this mission and vision has been adopted by the Staff Senate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I applaud your work there. That's tremendous.
Thank you very much. Our goals are next. We actually have goals, 3 goals, and we adopted those in the meeting that was Wednesday, but I don't have those in my report, so I'll bring those to you in June. But the whole goal is a healthier, more positive staff immediately, if not sooner.
Great.
Great, thank you for your report. Questions? Questions?
One
Yes.
question. appreciate your report, and it sounds like there's a lot of positive change going on in the Staff Senate. How has the rest of campus adjusted to these changes?
As we start to, this is new, so as we start to move forward, I think you feel it, in all honesty. I have hopes, big aspirational hopes. I shoot for the moon and hope for the stars, and my hopes are to see a mentally healthier, a physically healthier, a happier campus before I'm done with the president piece of it next June. I hope to see it in our insurance premiums. I hope to see it all over campus, and I hope to see it in our community.
So how long is your term?
I am here until June of 24.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, an update?
Lions win 75-75.
Down to the wire.
No dance?
No dance? Mr. President? Okay. Okay, congratulations to the Lions. Very exciting, the Lady Lions.
May I say something?
Yes, please, go ahead.
So-
Turn your microphone on.
With that, there will be a watch party tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the NEZ. There will be an announcement going out to campus soon. We hope there will be a lot of students there, linebackers, community members, board members. So come by the NEZ 5 o'clock tomorrow. We have, thanks to Bethany and others, made up the announcement. It's all designed, and now we can go out. So.
As soon as I can get back to the office.
Like those championship t-shirts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
All right.
That's great.
Great news, congratulations. Okay, next is the Student Senate President, Mr. Marcel John.
All right, thank you, everybody. I would also just like to keep it short and simple. So one small thing that we're trying to work on is it's a small project to see, hopefully, if students would like it outside of the Lions Den, see how people are feeling. It hasn't really come into fruition yet, but we wanted to see if it would come up. And another thing we're talking about is campus vibrancy. So along with Senate, Staff Senate, is a lot of students want to see how much they can impact the Missouri Southern. So like one thing I wanted to notice, or I've noticed, is that a lot of schools, D1 and D2, in the neighboring areas, Pitt State to U of A lot of people have an identity with the school. So I was wondering to see if a lot of people, or a lot of students specifically, if they have an identity with Missouri Southern. So I wanted to create like a small tradition that a lot of people that could carry on, and this would hopefully start either next fall, and it'd be like an organic process as we go on through the years to come. So then we can say like, hey, I have an identity from Missouri Southern now because of this tradition that we started small. And then not only is it going to start up with the students, but it branches on to faculty, branches on to staff, and then after the staff, we've already built the community within the university. It's going to branch off to the neighboring people around Joplin and so forth, the Southwest Missouri area, because that's something I really wanted to push / grow with Student Senate, and hopefully this comes to fruition. And then on another note, shameless plug, I'm in this talent show on Monday. If you guys want to come see me perform in Corley Auditorium, Webster, it starts at 6 o'clock, March 13th. But other than that, it will conclude the end of my report.
And the talent you will be performing?
I'm going to be playing guitar.
Oh, terrific.
There'll be 10 acts, 10 student acts.
We had one, unfortunately, we had one drop out last second, but now we have 9. But it's still a lot of people. So.
Great. Questions for Mr. John? Thank you for your report. That concludes all our reports, and we'll move on to board committees. Personnel and compensation did not meet, is that correct? So we have no report. Academic Affairs, Chair, Governor Rosenberg.
We met this morning. We reviewed our minutes from our previous January meeting. We received updates from Provost Toms. We dropped 4 certificate programs, and we are adding, or recommended adding, 3 new academic programs. They were a undergraduate certificate in cultural anthropology, graduate certificate in history, and a graduate certificate in digital course design and delivery. The committee approved these, and I now would request a motion for the board to approve.
Great. Thank you for your motion,
need
Governor
a-
Rosenberg. Is that your motion?
Yeah, that's my
Yes,
motion.
it is.
I
Did
would
we-
second that.
Second, Governor Herschelway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any discussion? Any further discussion on that? Okay, we'll move on to Governor Haley for the Budget and Audit Board Committee meeting.
Thank you, Governor Plotnick. Budget and Audit Committee met this morning as well. We approved minutes, got an update on budget and the ongoing preparation of the budget for the next fiscal year. Dr. HODSON also gave an update on the Lions Forward campaign, and then also on a three-year facility planning project that will be starting as well. We also have 3 motions that would like to come forward to the board to consider. The first being regarding the Health Science Innovation Center architect contract authorization. And then the second is a Health Science Innovation Center construction manager at risk RFQ. And then Health Science Innovation Center construction manager at risk contract authorization. And so I'll do these 3 separately. So the first motion is the selection committee will make a recommendation to the university president on the selected vendor for the architectural services for the Health Science Innovation Center. The board authorizes the university president to engage in a contract with an architect for the center.
Okay, Governor Haley, we have the first motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Governor Elliott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, second motion is regarding the construction manager RFQ. Is that the next step in the planning process and construction phase, the board authorizes the university to issue a request for qualifications for a construction manager at risk for construction of the new Health Science Innovation Center on the campus of Missouri Southern State University.
Okay, we have another motion from Governor Haley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Governor Richard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the third.
Third motion to keep this process going is a selection committee will make a recommendation to the university president to choose a vendor for the construction manager at risk. The board authorizes the university president in consultation with the budget and audit chair to engage in an agreement with the construction manager at risk for the Health Science Innovation Center.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Governor Gibson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything further to cover from the Budget and Audit Committee meeting?
The only other thing I would mention was an update we received regarding the state's review regarding NCHIMS. I remember that wonderful acronym of information they're requesting regarding base appropriations that will potentially start in fiscal year 25. So I'm excited to see what they decide to do or if they need my input.
Thank you for your report. Questions for Governor Haley? Anything else?
That is all.
Thank you. Okay, that covers our board committees. Next, is there any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, any new business to come before the board? None. You'll see below that we have future dates for our meetings. And we also have dates going into 2024. So thank you, Jeannie, for getting those on the schedule and coordinating those. That concludes our meeting. I will remind everybody to set your clocks back this weekend. And if I have a motion, forward. Yeah, fall back, set forward. You know what I meant. Yeah, I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved. Governor Morgan, is there a second? Second, Governor Richard. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries, and meeting is adjourned.
Go Lions.
Congratulations, Lady Lions.
I could get you an autograph.